The Beach Boys are the sound of endless summer, their harmonies as timeless as the tides they so often sang about. They carved out a place in history with sun-kissed melodies, intricate arrangements, and a knack for blending surf culture with an innovative approach to songwriting. Brian Wilson, the band's beating heart, had a rare talent for creating music that was as emotionally resonant as it was technically astounding. But even legends can hit rough patches, and by the late 1980s, the band was struggling to adapt to the changing musical landscape. Cue Tom Cruise, a man who unwittingly became an unlikely ally in their story, not once, but twice.
I feel the need for speed.
The first time Cruise lent a hand to the Beach Boys' enduring legacy came with Cocktail, the 1988 romantic drama that paired his Hollywood charm with the glitz of high-stakes bartending. At the time, the Beach Boys were far removed from the experimental highs of Pet Sounds or the cultural explosion of Good Vibrations. Their last US chart topper was over 2 decades in the rearview mirror, and Dennis Wilson's death in 1983 had left a palpable void. They were a band searching for relevance when opportunity knocked in the form of a movie soundtrack. "We were asked to do a song for a movie," Brian Wilson later recalled, noting that the film's producers wanted a track that captured the exotic escapism of Cruise's character, Brian Flanagan, transitioning from the chaos of New York to the idyllic shores of Jamaica.
We tried to get him to record with us on that song, but he was under the tutelage, if you will, or under the spell, as some people would say, of Dr. Landy, a psychologist who governed his every move. And Landy would let Brian record with us only if Landy could be the co-writer or the co-producer of the record and stuff. And we had Terry Melcher was the producer. Now, Terry Melcher had produced the Byrds and Paul Revere and the Raiders. He was very successful at what he did. And so he didn't need Gene Landy's help. So Gene kept him away. What happened, though, we did a video in Florida of Kokomo, and Brian was in the video, but he wasn't on the record. And I wrote that song with Terry Melcher and John Phillips of the Mamas and Papas.
The brief wasn't particularly lofty or inspiring, but the band delivered, crafting Kokomo, a buoyant slice of pop with steel drums and island-themed lyrics that were almost kitschy in their simplicity. Because Tom Cruise's character was going from New York to Jamaica. What no one expected was for Kokomo to become a runaway success. The song soared to the top of the Billboard Hot 100, dethroning an era dominated by Madonna and George Michael. It wasn't just a hit, it was a global phenomenon, reaching the top spot in Australia and charting in the top 10 across Canada, Germany, France, and the Netherlands. That song was #1 for 8 weeks in Australia, Wilson recounted with a mix of pride and disbelief. That's a long time to be #1. It was an improbable victory for a band some had written off as relics of another era. But success came with its ironies. Unlike the band's meticulously crafted masterpieces of the 1960s, Kokomo wasn't born of artistic ambition or personal catharsis. It was a job, a track written by assignment to fit a Hollywood narrative. "We had no frame of reference on it," Mike Love explained. "We were just writing by assignment to the movie." Yet, in its infectious energy and unabashed optimism, the song struck a chord, bringing the Beach Boys back into the limelight. The strange magic of Kokomo lay in its ability to transcend its origins. Its breezy melody and escapist lyrics made it a perfect fit for Cruise's cinematic sun and sand fantasy. But it also spoke to a broader audience yearning for a simpler, sunnier kind of joy. Even as Cocktail was savaged by critics, it won the Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Picture. The film's commercial success ensured the song was heard by millions. By the end of 1988, Kokomo had not only revitalized the Beach Boys' career, but also earned them Grammy and Golden Globe nominations, achievements that seemed surreal given the song's humble beginnings. Cruise's inadvertent impact on the Beach Boys' legacy didn't stop there. In 2001, his role in Cameron Crowe's psychological thriller, Vanilla Sky, would bring the band's most iconic track, Good Vibrations, roaring back into public consciousness. Unlike the escapist charm of Kokomo, Good Vibrations is a sonic marvel, a kaleidoscope of layered harmonies, unconventional instrumentation, and lyrical whimsy that has stood as a benchmark of musical innovation since its release in 1966.
Beach Boys, I think, was a big influence on the harmony. There was a little intercontinental rivalry, mainly Brian. His writing, I think he'd heard one of our albums and thought, I've got to do better, you know. And that was Pet Sounds, which I loved. It was like still one of my big albums, you know. It was so atmospheric and different.
Yes.
And yet it was the Beach Boys still, you know.
Yeah.
And we heard Pet Sounds and thought, right, we've got to do something better than that.
Yeah.
So we did Sgt. Pepper.
The use of Good Vibrations in Vanilla Sky was no mere background noise. It underscored a pivotal moment, its swirling, almost psychedelic soundscape perfectly mirroring the film's disorienting narrative. For audiences unfamiliar with the Beach Boys' deeper catalogue, it was a revelation, a reminder of the band's experimental genius and their ability to push the boundaries of pop music. Where Kokomo gave them a surprising second act, Vanilla Sky reasserted their rightful place in the annals of musical history. These two moments, years apart, highlight an odd but undeniable connection between the Beach Boys and Cruise's cinematic legacy. Cruise, with his status as a global icon, became an unwitting amplifier for their music. Sometimes these things just happen, Wilson might have said, reflecting on how a track written to order or an old hit reused in a movie could breathe new life into their work. The Beach Boys' success has always been a mix of genius, timing, and a touch of serendipity. They didn't need Tom Cruise to validate their artistry. Their legacy was already secure in the harmonies of California Girls and the lush orchestration of Pet Sounds. But through Cruise's movies, their music found new audiences, reintroduced to both the escapist joy and the profound beauty of their sound. It's proof that, even decades after their prime, the Beach Boys remain as timeless as the California sun they so often serenaded.